I received your letter dated September 2nd to the CWA Executive Board. You are attempting to file a direct appeal to the Executive Board concerning your membership status in Local 4501. On or about May 1st, 2014, you sent a similar letter to President Cohen. And if those of you who don't know, President Cohen is the president over the entire FLCI. President Cohen responded on May 19, 2014, advising you that any question of membership must be pursued through the local. In fact, I am advised that you did proceed through Local 4501 at its membership meeting of June 7, 2014. The Local 4501 membership voted to deny you membership in Local 4501 as you were a student employee. The CWA Internal Appeals Procedure states, the purpose of these appeal procedures is to provide reasonable regulation for the consideration and review of complaints of members regarding actions of the local or union or local officers or governing body which are alleged to be in violation of the union constitution, local bylaws, rights, and privileges of members. These procedures are not available to challenge at a local decision on membership eligibility. Accordingly, you have no right to challenge the local decision regarding your membership eligibility. No action can be taken regarding your letter to the CWA Executive Board. This letter is closed. Sincerely, Annie Hill, Secretary-Treasurer, CWA Executive Board, Linda Hinton, Bill Bain, Kevin Key, President, Local 4501. And I just wanted to read that because of what he stated. We will continue with nominations for President of Local 4501. And yes, sir, state your name, please.
David Gutierrez.
Please speak up.
David Gutierrez, Secretary of State's Office. I nominate Cynthia Stewart, President.
I proudly accept nomination as President of CWA Local 4501.
Cynthia Stewart. Nomination.
Stewart with a T.
Thank you. Anyone else? Anyone else for the second time? Anyone else for the third time? Nomination for President of Local 45 is now closed. Next is Executive Vice President for Local 4501.
I nominate Jason Lacey.
Kevin Key has nominated Jason Lacey. See why?
You have to accept, sir. I'll just leave it there. I accept nomination for Vice President.
And Jason Lacey has accepted the nomination for Executive Vice President. Paula Deal, Secretary of State.
I nominate Tim Quinn.
Tim Quinn. Q-U-I-N-N.
I accept the nomination to Executive Vice President.
Tim Quinn has been nominated by Paula Deal and accepted. Any more nominations for Executive Vice President of Local 4501? Any more nominations for Executive Vice President of Local 4501? Any more nominations for Executive Vice President 4501? Executive Vice 4501 is now closed. Nominations are closed. I got that from Rich. You know, Rich would always say it 3 times before he would shut it down. So I just wanted to be clear. Secretary for Local 4501 is our next nomination. Do we have any nominations for Secretary of Local 4501?
I nominate May Adams.
May Adams.
I accept the nomination.
Nominated by
Amy Stumbo.
Ms. Stumbo.
M.A.B.
Oh, M.A.E. We got you, man. Sorry about that. Secretary, Local 4501.
I'd like to nominate Crystal Harris, Secretary.
Crystal Harris, will you accept the nomination? Because you got to accept.
I'm sorry, I got the wrong title. Take that
She
off,
can-
not
no,
secretary.
she can decline.
Okay.
Crystal Harris, will you accept or decline?
I decline.
Crystal Harris, decline. Any more nominations for Secretary, Local 4501? Going once? Going twice. Nominations for Secretary, Local 4501 are now closed. Local 4501 Treasurer nominations are now open. Paul Willis, Medical Center.
Roger King.
Roger King. K-I-N-G, Roger.
Yes, sir.
Do you accept the nomination, Roger?
Yes, sir, I accept.
Roger King accepts the nomination. Paul Willis from Madison. Yes, ma'am. What's your name?
Lisa Prue?
Lisa Prue?
Yes.
Okay. And you nominate
Paula Dillon.
Paula Deal.
I accept the nomination for treasurer.
Nominated by Mr. Prue. Secretary of State's office and accepted by Paula. Jason Lacey.
Jason Lacy, I'd like to nominate Crystal Harris as treasurer.
Jason Lacey, FOD, nominates Crystal Harris. Crystal Harris, do you accept the nomination?
I accept the nomination.
Local 4501 Treasurer, nominations. Going once. Going twice. Hope all minds are clear, going 3 times. We have now closed the nominations for Local 4501 Treasurer. Now we have a Vice President that we have down at Secretary of State's office, and we're now taking nominations for Vice President and Secretary of State's office. That's what the SOS.
Carol?
May Adams.
May Adams, Secretary of State. I'd like to nominate Amy, A-M-Y, Stumbo, S-T-U-M-B-O.
All right.
Yes?
All right, man.
S-T-U-M-B as in boy, O.
May Adams has nominated Amy Stumbo, and they're both from Secretary of State. Yes, Ms. And Amy accepts the nomination. Any more nominations for Secretary of State's office? All minds clear, ladies and gentlemen? Secretary of State? All right. Going once, going twice. 3 times. Nominations for 4501 Vice President, Secretary of State, Amy Stumbo.
Hello.
I'm sorry. Oh, I apologize. Okay. Local 4501, Executive Board at Large. Do we have nominations? Okay. Let me get the lady first. Oh, yes, ma'am.
I'd like to nominate.
Oh, I got you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Could you say your name,
I'm
please?
Claudia Galbraith from the Secretary of
Yes,
State.
ma'am.
I'd like to nominate Lisa Fruit.
L-I-S-A?
Yes, sir. F-R-E-W.
Lisa Fruit.
I accept the nomination.
That's accepted. May Adams. May Adams, Secretary of State. Miracle Long. I'm probably spelling this wrong, y'all. I used to be a good speller. I've got to be an old man now. First, I want to take care of this letter. If you're not here and you're nominated, you can provide a letter accepting the nomination. And Miracle, man, I thought you gave me a letter. I got it somewhere, but I'll make sure that everyone sees a copy of the letter. Man, and I just wanted to read this, you all, because that's the protocol. And dated 10/2/14, I, Miracle Long, accept my nomination for executive board and signed and written by Miracle Long. Those of you who don't know, Miracle, she's not doing well, but she's resting at home, so let us all just remember her in prayer.
Amen.
I'm sorry, Paul Willis, I got it, Bobby. Paul Willis, Medical Center.
I nominate Tony Brown.
Paul Willis nominates Tony Brown. Mr. Brown, do you accept?
Yes, sir, I do accept the nomination.
All right, I had this lady right here. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I nominate Nancy Cornegay,
And your name is?
Deborah Dickerson.
I got it. Spell it for me, Lynn.
It's Kornegay.
Do you accept nomination?
I
young
do
lady?
accept nomination.
Crystal Harris.
I nominate Wayne Crawford.
Crystal Harris has nominated Wayne Crawford. From Student Life, and we have a letter from Wayne Crawford dated September 29, 2014. I, Wayne Crawford. Executive Board Committee members, Local 4501. After serving 9 years on the E-Board for Lexington, I accept the nomination. My God. That ain't hey, y'all, don't say that you was right. Because my writing is not, just as bad, so I can't be on that. Lee Paul. Lee Paul nominates himself. You accept nomination, Lee?
Yes, sir, I accept the nomination.
Yes, sir. Could you state your name for me, please? Stephen Hunter. And where, University East? Spell your name, sir.
First name is Stephen, last name is Hunter, H-U-N-T-E-R.
Stephen? S-T-E-V-E-N? Paul Willis?
Yeah, buddy. I nominate Roger King.
Can't run for 2 offices. Oh, okay. You can decline though, Roger.
I decline.
I won't even put you down. Next, Miss Sunderland. Darlene. S-U-N-D-E-R. Accept the nomination of yourself, Darlene. Yes, ma'am.
I nominate
Amy?
I nominate David Gutierrez.
Okay. David? Stephanie Davis.
U-T-G,
C-U? Got it.
U-T,
Yes,
as
sir.
in Tom, I-E,
Yes, sir.
R-R-E-Z, as in zoo.
You got it. Yeah,
And I accept.
David Gutierrez has accepted. Gutierrez, I'm sorry. Has accepted.
Jason Lacy, I'd like to nominate Anthony Tutt.
Jason Lacy.
Hello.
Local 4501, executive board.
Yeah, I accept. That's all right.
Local 4501 executive board nominations, going once. Going twice. 3 times. Local 4501 executive board nominations are now closed, and that concludes our nominations. Now, I'm going to post all these up on the wall so everybody can see. President, Local 4501, Kevin Key, Cynthia Stewart. Can Lee help your brother out? Post those for me, brother. See, I need you. Yeah, help. Executive Vice President, Local 4501, Jason Lacy, Tim Quinn. You with me, Local 4501 Secretary, May Adams. Local 4501 Treasurer, Roger King, Paula Deal, Crystal Harris. Thank you. Local 4501 CWA, Vice President, Secretary of State's Office, Amy Stumbo. Thank you. Local 4501 Executive Board, CWA, Lisa Frew, Miracle Long, Tony Brown, Lynn Cornegay, Wayne Crawford, Lee Paul, Stephen Hunter, Darlene Sunderland, put a D on there, David Gutierrez, Gutierrez. I'm sorry, Gutierrez.
I'm used to it.
I didn't have to punctuate that. Gutierrez.
You always got it right.
And Anthony Tutt. I'll get that right, Mr. Gutierrez.
I'm sure, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, I did say that. She knows how to spell it too. Supposed to know how to spell it. And for those of you that may not know, anyone that's running that's unopposed, go into office. We don't have to actually do any voting for that individual because they're running out. Okay. And, hold on one second. We have 2 offices today that are running unopposed. Vice President, Secretary of State's Office, Amy Stumbo, and Secretary May Adams. I take a motion from the floor that, I don't know how to word it, was that Amy Stumbo and May Adams be affirmated into those positions because they're running unopposed. I'll take a motion, a second, and then we'll vote on it.
I second.
Yeah, Ms. Brew, did I get that right? Yes. Ms. Brew makes the motion. Seconded, John Driscoll, we get your name on the record. Donald Driscoll. All in favor? Aye? Aye. All opposed? The ayes have it. Amy Stumbo, May Adams.
You have a call of order. I'd like you all to go get the minutes in the back, no there in the seat. So first order of business, the minutes for the previous meeting.
The minutes that are in the back are for the months of May, June, and September, as well as the financials for July and August. Where'd you go, Cindy? Okay, and one other thing that I would ask you, because I do record these minutes on my voice recorder, please speak up or come to the front so that I can get your names, because I have been having a terrible time getting your names and your area of work. Thank you. Will all the stewards stand and please be recognized? Okay. First one here is Steve Light.
Tony Brown, Medical Center.
Fern Ward, Steve Light. Say it again. Fern, F-E-R-N, or M-O-O-R-E, Student Life.
Tom Hines, New York campus. Tom.
For me?
Yeah, you.
Oh,
Yeah, you.
Van Carnegie, Student Life.
Darlene Sunderland, Student Life. Tim Quinn, Secretary of State.
Amy Stumbo, Secretary of State.
Anthony Tuck, FOP.
Gerald Davis, staff rep, CWF.
Mr. Newman. Roll call.
Officers, we have interim president, Kevin Key, interim vice president, Jason Lacey, the treasurer is here, the secretary is here, Cynthia Stewart, May Adams, E. Ward, Tony Brown, Crystal Harris. Are we missing? Whose cell phone? Whose cell phone? The $5 Coke donation, thank you very much, my brother. Anyone else? Whoever the steward is in that area, please collect our $5. Thank you. What? I think it was just question about the Coke. We need $5.
Did you introduce yourself, Paula?
No, Paula Hill, Secretary of State.
I'm going to introduce you while you're who's missing?
Dennis, yeah, we got Tony. Wayne wasn't going to be here. So Wayne and Miracle will be here. That's it. Thank you. All you. You should have. I was,
Does everybody have a copy of the minutes? Does everybody have a copy of the minutes? We will start with May, which you'll probably see June 26th. At the top of it, that's actually the May minutes.
they were transcribed in June, so that's why you're looking at two different dates.
There was a roll call. Those present were Cynthia Stewart, the treasurer, Kevin Key, the vice president. Those who were excused were Richard Murray, Ray Adams, Stewart there with Tony Brown, Miracle Long, Kevin Key, and Cynthia Stewart. The treasurer report was reviewed from January and February. Motion to accept them was issued by Tony Brown, seconded by David Gutierrez. The passed. There was a presentation from a gentleman from Legal Shield by the name of Kurt Church and Luke Church. And the state that we reported that Richard was here. There was a report from Kevin Key going to the political legislative conference. Talks about the culture and the necessity to attend. About legislative representatives who work to protect our rights that we have enjoyed for years. We present our ideas and concerns. Talk about how we go around to talk to our elected officials, present our concerns, issues that are germane to labor. Say that we're under attack, that our member body must provide work through calls, labor walks, that we must get in their ears and send emails. Talked about events that took place on May the 6th, about the picking and loosing technology from Governor Ohio. I'm sort of reading through, but got three of them to read. Don't have to, not read. But we can take the time to read the rest of them so we can speed the process and not go about reading them all. Can we have a motion to accept the minutes as they are? Motion by David Gutierrez.
All three.
Second. Second by Amy Stumbo. All in favor? Aye. All those who oppose? Hearing none, motion passed. All three members.
You have the financials for the month of July and August, am I correct? Please review, if you have any questions. Questions?
Yes, my name is Stephen Hunter. Some of the questions I was asking here, I was looking at the deposit and what, I don't know, the deposit, where'd that money come from?
Those are local dues.
Dues?
Positive, yes, from the dues that we all pay. Those are the national, and then we get, 3/4 of that, of those dues, and they're deposited.
Every month?
Yes, and that's what allows us to operate,
Mhm.
pay for arbitration, and have that.
So I see a previous balance here, and then a deposit. Do we have what the count balance from there?
Sorry?
Previous balance, the checking account balance, the deposit.
Correct. If you look at the bottom, each month we have a total account of assets. So we bring that over from, let's say, July from June.
Mhm.
June, the balance of our assets total to $34,964.
Okay,
The deposits were the $32,000.
okay,
Debits, which were bills, salaries, utilities, things like that, that were
Okay.
paid.
okay,
And then we have the account that we call a savings account, which is building rental, which is your third box.
mhm,
And then below that is our total assets for the month of July,
Okay.
which has been carried over to August,
correct,
35. And the deposits were 30, and our expenditures for the month was 29,000.
okay,
And now we have close to 6,000 in our savings. And the total for August, our assets were $37,000. And we're working to make that better, to broaden out our budget.
okay.
So that's July and August.
If you need to see the detailed financials, you can make an appointment with the finance committee for that, or we're still doing that.
Send it to Jerry. And to put on.
But you'll need to make an appointment. So what you can get with the financial committee, if there's anything specific you're looking at, if there's something specific that you had a question. Yes.
On that note, I make a motion to accept the financial report.
Is there a second? Second by Lynn Cornigan. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion has been carried. Jason Lacy, we going to do a report time. What can you report out of FOD?
We won a couple grievances here lately. Really on FOD, we're going through a lot of policy change, and I know there's some people from the medical center here that we will be talking to shortly when we start doing the merge. There's going to be a merge upcoming between FOD and the hospital. I don't have details to give you, that's the details I have, but the merge is coming. They're currently talking about classifications and trades, and they're trying to get a structure together right now that'll satisfy everybody, but we don't know what that's going to look like. So that is the hot topic right now out of FOD that we're currently working through. So that's the big thing. I know a lot of hospital folks have probably heard something about the merge, and it's really going to affect the groundskeepers happening soon, and the maintenance trades will probably be happening, I'm going to say, the next 6 months. We'll have something in place and try to work something out.
Primarily who will it
Who will it primarily affect?
Primarily, it's going to affect the skilled trades out of the hospital and FOD. Is what we're looking at right now. I think the EVS out of the hospital is going to stay their own structure, but right now it's going to be the skilled trades, groundskeepers, and FOD. So we're not sure if those employees will be becoming, the last thing I told, those employees will be becoming FOD employees working at the hospital. That's where we're at.
Crystal Harris, report out student life.
There's a lot of upcoming changes with student life and the way processes will work. With NRDC, which is North Residential District Project, I don't know the full acronym, I know that there are a lot of housekeeping staff or custodial workers that are concerned about the shift. We did question that at one of our consensus meetings. We were told that there's no direct information that's being given right now. We'll continue to question those because we do realize that some of the management staff has went around leaking things necessarily that they weren't supposed to be talking about. So again, that will continue to be a discussion. With regards to that, we don't have information. We're just trying to keep our ears to the ground about things. We are ordering things that they're kind of trying to tailor things around. We're waiting to kind of find out some more information with regards to dining services. Changes are being made throughout those two. Again, we don't have any information, and we're just waiting to come to the table as well. The only thing that I can suggest is that if you hear something, of course, make sure that you inform Ms. Darlene, Ms. Lynn, your steward, because if we don't hear it from you, then sometimes we won't know until the changes are about to happen.
Marvin Newman, any report of things happening in the hospital?
Not at this time.
At this time?
There's a lot of evidence there right now.
Paula Deal, Secretary of State.
We just won an arbitration for parity, which was the biggest win
Can you speak up a little bit?
We just won a arbitration for parity in our office, which was the biggest financial win that our office has ever seen. We got 5.48% back pay for 26 months at the time of award, which has been another month. So we're waiting to hear when we're going to get our settlement, and everybody at the office is very happy. It took a long time. We had a great team of people working on it, and that's all we have right now.
Question. Was this the settlement on management getting an increase and employees not getting an increase? Did somebody unpack that a bit?
That is correct.
Okay. Good job, whoever worked on it. Could somebody explain that besides me? Because I don't think I have a beat on it.
Me too, Paul.
Okay, Me Too clause on if management gets an increase, the employees will get a similar increase. That was the deal.
What had happened was, in the contract, there is a parity Me Too. And we agreed to do this because of the budget cuts and the furloughs and things like that. We suffered. We all suffered no raises along with management. So we said, okay, if you do not get a raise, we won't either. If you do give yourselves a raise, then we want a Me Too. Okay? And that was happening, and they did not say anything. We had no idea. They did not report it to our vice president. Therefore, it was reported to the union, and Paula Fields took the ball, and we rolled with it. And there was a team of, let's see, Francine Conley, Anthony Bice, and Amy Stumbo, May Adams, under the direction of our Vice President, Paula Gill, and I assisted to the best of my ability. We had to go to arbitration. I was the witness. Paula was the primary witness. And after about 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, and it was very costly. That's why arbitration, we really have to watch our budget because arbitrations are very costly. It costs close to $19,000. And we paid half, which was $9-something. The reward, though, was great. We got a 5.8% rate and back pay, too, for 26 months. But we have to fight. We cannot just let management get away with things, and especially if they agree to stipulations in the contract, adhere to it as we do, too. We're suffering no raises, and you're giving yourself raises, and you agreed to give us raises, too. So therefore, we fought it and we won.
I think we're still in the steward's report. Can I make a motion about this based on the steward's report, or am I out of order doing that? Okay.
Tony Brown. Like, you make a report on anything that's happening in the hospital and do it.
Yes, I actually would. Currently, they have started the practice of, they started the practice of now scheduling training during lunch periods. When I approached them about this, if they were going to employ overtime for that time lost for our scheduled lunches, they had no answers. Basically, it was ignore it and it'll go away for them. I pushed the issue. I'm going to basically file the grievance on this, and for those members that have had to negate their lunches for this scheduled training.
Thank you. I just have one information. During that case that you had to arbitration, both had to pay both arbitration. Now, do you have a clause in there where if the person loses, they'll have to pay the other person arbitration cost for the contract?
The contract, what it is.
I mean, the agreement, I'm saying.
Okay. What it is when the local, once you go through a grievance process, there comes a point where it's first level, you can say it's your grievance. Once it goes past first level, then it becomes the union's grievance.
Exactly.
Yeah, so when you get to a point where, in the case of the Secretary of State, you have 3 levels. Class action starts level 2. They went past the level 2 because there was nothing that the director could do to settle it. So we had to immediately advance to level 3.
Okay.
That is a union grievance. And at that point, first off, the officer said it didn't happen. Secondly, they said that it was their right to do it. Then they said that we were too late. So we had to go to
The next step.
to arbitration. Arbitrations are automatically a 50-50.
Okay. That's the question I was asking. My question I was asking was it 50-50?
It's automatic.
And I was
Yes.
wondering, was the clause in there when they lose their arbitration, would they
No.
would they forfeit some of the money to pay our arbitration costs?
They're really got hurt enough that they got to pay to the
Okay.
people 5.48%. They crying about that. Okay? Okay.
President's report. Student life. There have been rumblings. You are concerned.
Yeah,
You're hearing noise.
yeah.
Feeling as if no one is speaking to you or talking to you.
Yeah.
Clearly, I want it known today. There has been no information shared. There has been no information given to the leadership of the local. There have been no conversations with the leadership of the local in relationship to cutting you, layoffs, reduction of staff, whatever you may have heard. There has been, I'm going to repeat it several times, no conversation started, brokered at all with the leadership of the union. And I want you to carry that back, just as it has been delivered to you that we know something. There has been no conversation. Now, your managers are reporting things to you, saying things to you, because they are talking to your managers. Your managers are trying to make you feel that we know. And I'm here to tell you, we have approached them, and we have been given no information. I'll also say in student life, there has been a massive building project going on. Dorms going up all over the place. Still going up in on campus. I'll make it clear, those dorms will be filled with custodians. There is no room to cut the staff you have when you're building hundreds and hundreds of more rooms. There will be additional hires. The question is, how many? And the question is, I can't answer that question. I don't know how many more. That's the issue. that I can begin to cipher. There's no way that the current staff can clean what they're cleaning and clean also what they're building. Impossible. So first thing you need to stop worrying about is the fact that you're going to be cut, they're going to be laid off, who's the most senior. So those are the things that you run around saying to each other. Who's the most senior? Who's going to go first? So point blank, that part of the conversation, y'all can stop. Point blank, you can stop that part of the conversation. But, and I will talk to you later, but we're going to turn that camera off, because I'm going to say some things that this is on Facebook, and I want to say some things and talk about some things that we don't need to say and tell everybody. But point blank, you can't clean what they're doing. It's impossible. And those who are working now are not going to be laid off. I'm going to assure you that. And I'll talk to you a little bit after we come to a close. You student life custodian. After I'll entertain questions. So I want you to understand that, and I know that you are at ease in that situation. So we're going to have a conversation. But also what I want you guys to think about, and what it needs to happen, you have to become more union oriented. For so long, you have taken for the gospel what those managers tell you. They make a comment to you all, you got like it's the gospel. If they say the union over there is selling you out, where you all concerned, it's the gospel. Whatever it might be. They tell you, if you run the union, I'm going to do this to you. Guess what? You guys believe it. The question, and this is my challenge to you all, to begin to become more union-like, union brothers and sisters. Stand up for one another. Stop listening to what the managers have to say. Stop listening to what they tell you that would lead you to have division amongst one another. Because we got division over there amongst one another. We got people who say, I'm going to go over on management, because management is going to take care of you. That needs to stop. Because the very minute that you begin to think you're in trouble, they run you right back here. Send you right back here in a tizzy, upset. And all of you are upset and worried. When the union office is open 5 days a week, and most of the time we here till 6:30 in the evening, and come back and do second shift and third shift, and no one asks a question because you're only listening to what your manager has to tell you. That's not fair. You can come over at the end of your shift and ask any question that you want to ask. The door is open. And believe me, there are many who come at the end of their shift. Some come every day. So I'll expect to see some of your faces from here on out to ask. That division is one of the hardest divisions as far as union activity is concerned. When your steward is walking around who is free, whether it was me, whether it's Ms. Harris, whoever it happens to be, it's reported. She's here, he's here. He's walking around, he's speaking to. It becomes difficult. And even there are reports that people go tell, and the people that's union members, I saw so-and-so talking to so-and-so, has to stop. We have to be able to talk to you in order to know what's going on. You are our eyes. You are our ears. Won't know what the manager told you unless you tell me. Crystal won't know unless you tell her. Lynn won't know unless you tell her. Darlene won't know unless you tell her. Randy Gray won't know unless you tell him. Dwayne Jones won't know unless you tell him. Those are stewards inside of student life. And Fern Moore, when she gets back to work, won't know unless you tell her. I named about 7 stewards inside the division of student life who you can talk to, ask questions, bring questions to, so they can be brought to us or bring them yourself. I promise to talk to you after this. That's a promise. That's a promise. And all I'm saying, if we stick together, there is nothing we cannot do. Nothing. The answer is nothing. Over in the medical center. Also, massive building going on. Over 100 plus, just EVS alone will be coming on board. Tony Brown will tell you in a heartbeat when something is going on. I think contractors in the building doing our work, it's going to be told. Marvin Newman says, hey, they got 10 folks over here working doing the EVS job. My wife was rushed to the hospital at EMS there. I began to see people walk around with uniforms that did not belong to us. I stopped her. I came out of her room and said, who are you? Where you come from? Who you work for? He didn't have on a proper uniform. I went back to management and said, what's going on? Why are these temps in here? They told me, Kevin, they opened up too fast. We wasn't ready. Didn't have the people in place. All these people in here, they're going to be union members. They only going to be here for a little while. You all work by temps. You see them. Tell it.
Point of order. We have a point of order. We need a motion to extend. I am there. You're informed that.
I'll make a motion that we extend the meeting.
Need a second.
Tony.
Tony Brown second. All in favor? All those who oppose? Hearing none, motion carries. I say that to say, you can do, you can stop, we can fight, we can address whatever needs to be addressed when we speak up. Also, as the whole entire body, as labor, one of the most important things that we have to do is become politically active. We are under attack. You should have read that in the minutes. We are under grave attack. Our working rights are under attack. Really, the very democracy of this country, the way we live, is under attack due to the destruction of workers' rights in unions. And we have to see it in that way. There is a systematic attack to destroy labor, which will then allow them to destroy the rest of our way of life. That they begin to connect the dots. We have been silent. We have been asleep on that issue. And it is costing us gravely. And I use the term gravely because it's putting us in the grave. Right to work is really a human worker's right. They use that title to make you think that they're giving you some rights, that you'll earn some rights, that they're leveling the playing field. It's very simple to understand. When's the last time somebody paid $1 billion+ to give you some extra rights? Why would it be necessary to spend billions of dollars to give you some rights? Or to do something that's fair for you? Just give me a raise. You don't have to spend the billions that way. If you really want to do something for me, give me some more money on my hourly check. And we have members who literally say, I want right to work. To me, it's unconscious to make that kind of statement. But let me help connect the dots. PERS, all of them here, public workers.
Yes, who is going to vote for?
PERS is under attack. It's under attack. There's a PERS election. We have to cast a vote. I believe that election is maybe Monday. I have some literature in here to go pass out for a gentleman who we need to vote for. But the gentleman who is opposing him, the gentleman who is opposing him has openly said that he will vote to have PERS become and turned over to 401k. And we have to put our money in the 401ks and begin to invest it ourselves. He wants to be on the PERS board where they trust and determine those things. And we, most of us, don't even vote that PERS issue. But the people who want that kind of money, and there's $4 trillion+ in public money in PERS across this nation. And there's some people who want to get their hands on that money. But if we don't vote and allow them to put people in place who will send that money to them, that just severely affects our retirement, our way of life. That what we thought was a security blanket, it gets less securable day by day. Also, in the state of New Jersey, they privatized their public system. Put it all in the, told them they had to take their money and invest it into 401k, send it down to your local investor in town, take the risk of it being lost. You work with it. But the proposals that's on the market now, one of the things that we'll talk about later, and if we have to get to share all the things, we'll be on the Facebook page also. There's a desire from many employers in putting legislation in effect that says when they privatize our PERS, our retirement system, that all the money that they put in, they give you take back. And the only money that you get to invest is the money that you put in. So think about that. And you have to think about the people who are sitting in those seats who vote to allow that to happen. So all the gains that we have earned get written away by the stroke of a pen, whether it's a legislator, a judge, one of those elected officials. We're going to take that serious. We have candidates night every year. Cynthia does an outstanding job. The question is, we have to go out and vote. The only reason we have Kasich, the only reason John Kasich is in office, the midterm election, just like right now, he beat Strickland. He beat Strickland by 88,000 votes. The year before that, 2 million+ people voted for Barack Obama in Ohio. By themselves, just what he got. That whole election, only half that many voted. If the same people would have voted as they voted in the presidential election, we wouldn't have had John Kasich. There wouldn't have been an SB 5. It wouldn't have happened. but we stayed home, we took it that it wasn't important, and now we're under attack. We have to understand that play offense. You know, like offense and defense. Beforehand, Strickland was our block. Whenever legislation like that came, he vetoed it and sent it back. We need some blocks in place. That's why we need Fitzgerald. Irregardless of what you heard about him, it's imperative that he wins the election. And it is a labor issue. It's a labor issue. It's imperative that he wins the election. We have Nina Turner running for the Secretary of State's office. They're trying to destroy our voting rights. Make it difficult for us to vote. Because it's difficult for us to vote, then they can remain in control and do whatever they want to do to it. The person who protects our right to vote is the person who runs the Secretary of State's office, where all these wonderful people work at. But Nina Turner is the person we need in office. There's no other choice. Early voting was supposed to start last week. Ohio went clean to the Supreme Court to make sure that didn't occur. Backed by John Hush, who's in office now, or whatever his name is. Doesn't matter. The only name that's important is Nina Turner. That's the only name that's important. You have to vote for Nina Turner. She must win that office. We fought too hard, lost too many lives, been beat upside the head, been shot, killed for the right to vote. That's not, it's a disgrace to our ancestors not to vote. We need to go vote, and we need to have that office. It needs to be ours. And one of the questions being asked to me is, here today, is everybody in this room a registered voter? And Cynthia is asking me that question. It's a good one. Is everybody in this room a registered voter? And if you're a registered voter, then you need to go vote. It needs to happen. It needs to happen. Many of us have loved ones who have received and are receiving benefits, like from workers' compensation, the Bureau of Workers' Compensation, BWC. They're attempting to eliminate BWC. They wish to get rid of BWC. I'm going to say right here, my mother gets a check from BWC. And if they get rid of it, she'd be in trouble. Yeah, I said your mama. We'll be in trouble. And a whole lot of folks will get people giving checks from Bureau of Workers' Compensation. That's a political issue, but that's a labor issue. We get hurt on the job, we need BWC to take care of us. My friend named Corny gets a check from BWC, got hurt on the job. That wouldn't be. If we don't take care of business, you ain't gonna be able to do that. My friend in the back, Fern Moore, BWC. And many other people who've been around the job getting a check from BWC. David Lesher put his hand out. BWC. They want to eliminate BWC. What does that do? That makes you have to go back to work when you're hurt, you're jacked up, for the injury, lifelong injuries, to keep you working day in and day out. It's a labor issue. It's a quality of life issue. You are labor. How you fight back? You put the people in office who will protect your interests. It's crucial. It is not a game. Medicare. The plan is to destroy it also. There is nothing that is not being attacked. There is nothing that has helped us, that has maintained us, to have a better way of life. And for most of us, there would be no middle class, no better life, if it wasn't for public works. And that's what we do. And public workers have a bad name. People believe we're lazy, we get paid too much, we got a gravy retirement, and I would tell y'all what that really is, but it's bullshit. I'm going to say it. That's what it is. I said it. That's what it is. And you all know it because you public workers. You work hard, you earn every dime you get. You're earning every dime you get. You made the choice to work in a system that reported you retired. That's nothing to be ashamed of. And I'm telling you to protect, to vote your interests, to vote the people who have your interests in mind. That's what we must do. And we must not only vote ourselves, our neighbors, our friends, our loved ones, we must begin to influence people to vote. That's one of the ways that we stand up and fight back. As labor, we also do phone polls. We do labor walks, where we call people to attempt to influence them to vote. It's a large room today. It would be beautiful to have all of you downtown on 30 East Broad Street, not 395 East Broad Street, the AFL-CIO building, on phones calling people. We do that in the evenings from 4 to 6. Call people and ask them who they're voting for. Persuade them to vote for a particular labor candidate that has our interests at his or her heart. We also do labor walks. There is one in an hour.
The PW is going to get a ticket and it's out here, it's going to get out.
Oh, yeah, who parked that both way?
It was there when I came in.
Oh, mine.
I got him before it was up.
Nobody moved it. Nobody moved it.
Somebody moved it.
It was there for you. But there's a labor walk at 10 a.m. today. The president from the AFL-CIO will be downtown from 10 to 12. They'll be walking through the communities, through the neighborhoods, passing out literature, knocking on doors, trying to persuade candidates leaving behind information to help persuade the mind of potential voters to vote for the candidates that have our interests at heart. The reason that we have to walk the streets and get on the phone is because the money is too great on the other side. And our only advantage is we put what we call boots on the floor. That's you and I walking, talking, speaking. If you pay any attention, there's very few commercials out there.
Right.
Matter of fact, all that you normally see are Republicans.
Right.
I'm going to say that. Just make it plain. That's what you see. Because that's where the money is. Citizens United, you need to pay attention to. It says that you can put as much money as you want to. That the corporation is a person, and that money is votes. Well, we don't have as much money as Sears or Macy's or U.S. Bank, General Electric, GM, Ohio State. You name it. We don't have that much money. They can flood the airwaves and shape the message. But we can put boots on the ground. We put thousands of feet on the ground. And thousands of people knocking on doors all across Ohio. That's what labor can do. We can flood our neighborhoods, our communities, hit those doors, make those phone calls. And that's our advantage. But it's only advantage if we're willing to participate. If you're willing to get out there and participate in the labor walk. It's only an advantage if you're willing to make those phone calls. That's our advantage. We must take it. We must do it because it protects life, our way of life, and democracy in this country. And that concludes the President's report. Any questions?
Yeah, I just wanted to go back to the,
Your name,
Sean Holland.
spell it.
SHAWNHOLLAND. You talk about rumors and stuff, like somebody had something, I don't know if I'm getting it right, Applebee or something they said weird. It was some weird term they used, and I was kind of confused. I was like, and they just kind of just said it and just kind of just moved on. Did you understand have you ever heard anything like that, or am I just kind of, it's like, it's something about basically student life.
We'll talk. I think I know what you're talking about, but that's something that we think is out there that might help us understand what it is they're attempting to do.
Right. I'm trying to, that's what, yeah.
And I'll talk to you about that.
That's fine.
You'll be a part of that group. You from that area.
Yeah.
I'm all gonna stay. You're gonna have a private conversation. Yeah.
So we can't speak on that as
There are
of
certain
yet?
things, remember, this is film. There's
Right,
certain things
I
I'm not
know,
going
I
to
understand,
say.
Kevin.
No, we gonna speak on, when we get our time.
Okay.
We gonna close this too. Any other questions? Dave?
Yeah, I'm Dave Lester, I'm West Campus Union Reporter. Since nobody else is going to say it, I want to tell Kevin, thanks for stepping up in the aftermath of Rich Moray's death. I was here the day that happened, and Kevin was on the spot. It's important for the union to have the institutional presence that it does. A lot of people feel like they're hitting the wall when they get to that. But you're an important guy to have in the wall, and that's kind of how it is, and I appreciate that. That's a lot of emotional work, a lot of day-to-day work, and a lot of people don't appreciate it. In that vein, I want to say, based on the Secretary of State's office victory, since a lot of our members are down in the mouth like they are in student life, the rumors kind of rule the day, we want our members to speak as confidently as our president does about what's going on in the union. We want our involvement in electoral politics to be strong. I've been to the candidates night here. It's as informal as these meetings are. You can ask people questions, and the politicians speak to you fairly directly. If you don't vote because you're not confident in the people who are running or don't have a sense of who's for organized labor and who's not, you can go to these candidates night and speak directly to the candidates. If you're hesitant about voting, it's important, particularly in off-year elections, when Democrats tend to hang back and not vote, that could kill us. And in the Secretary of State's office, where we're splitting the arbitration costs 50-50, Mitch McConnell and who's this guy from Tennessee, the politician Corker or whoever his name is, they're talking about making the NLRB 50-50, half Republicans, half Democrats, when the NLRB is an advocacy. They're a group for organized labor that make sure everything's on the level with organized labor. 50-50 Democrats and Republicans would bring that thing to a stalemate, a stall. And if you read the AFL-CIO blog or CWA blog, Larry Cohen, by the way, is president of CWA, not the AFL-CIO. But I say, since nobody will say it, are almost always up to no good with respect to organized labor. So if you don't get an idea of who's for organized labor, check what the union offers out so you can vote confidently, and please vote, because the reforms that are passed by legislatures, the attacks that will go through people at our level don't vote, are serious. But anyway, speaking of the institutional presence of the organization, I want to thank Terrell Davis for coming in over the summer and this fall and working on a level 1 grievance that's pretty continuous with me, but some delicate situations came up with management. I was accused of insubordination twice. Management presented incontrovertible evidence that was false. in my case. If you don't have a guy who comes in who has a rapport with management and can speak to them and do the preliminary stuff that enables management to understand what's going on, you're in trouble. And I've relied on Terrell repeatedly to process grievances. I think we've had fun doing it, and I've described it as big-time wrestling. And one of my supervisors who's now gone, I won't mention his name, said, Terrell would get in trouble if he made all those faces in court. But he's a passionate guy, and he figures out what the issues are. He's a straight shooter. Calls them like you see it. We don't always agree. But that's fine. I appreciate his help. But I was going to make a motion about the Secretary of State's office thing that I think would help the membership, and I think we should vote on it. I think we should report what happened with the Me Too clause, the arbitration, the whole 9 yards from somebody from Secretary of State, since they're part of our local, should give that report so our members have something to be confident about. We're going into negotiations ahead. We rely on the Me Too clause, and people always ask questions about what it's about. Well, here's a hard-fought victory, plenty of obstacles that we can tell the membership about and boost our own confidence level with the rank and file in the trenches. I think we get members out of the deal, we get more confident members out of the deal. So I'd like to make a motion that when the next paper comes out, we talk about the Secretary of State's things, unpack it a bit with respect to the obstacles we face going through it, show what the union fight is like, and I'd like to make that a motion if it's proper at this time. You want to boil it down, make a motion?
Okay, I'd like to understand that what you are motioning is that a synopsis of the Me Too clause be put in the next union publication and to be posted on the web?
Discussed as a victory for the local and arbitration. Yes, please.
We need a second. But we'll make a second.
All in favor of said motion?
Aye.
All those who oppose?
Don't even think about it.
Motion has been passed. I'm gonna be a little unorthodox. We've been talking about being politically active, and David just spoke about our candidate tonight. I would love for Ms. Stewart to stand up and talk about what will be taking place at True Love, candidate night will be held this year.
As interim president, so every year, for the last 7 years, I've been holding a candidates night. This could not have been done without Sheila and Lolita, the office manager, and our administrative secretary. It's very hard work. But what we want to do is bring political education to the community, our members, our family, and our friends, because we want you to have the best knowledge about our politicians and issues that's going to be on the ballot when you go to the polls or if you vote absentee. Absentee voting is something that some people just don't like to involve themselves in, but I find it necessary because if you have to work, if you don't have a babysitter, if it's raining, snow, you don't have any transportation, you can vote at home. And that way your vote will still be counted instead of staying home. I have to go to work and I can't vote because the votes count. Sometimes a no vote is a yes vote for someone you don't want to be in office.
Hang on, whose phone?
I think, oh man.
It's a $5 Coke donation with your phone is off. Well, playing on his phone is one thing, but phones that ring are something else. So we have the steward in his area, please collect.
I'm gonna have to put it on my account.
Okay, on account that you need the money. We know where you work.
Therefore, it's crucial that you try and come out to the event. We have candidates, as Kevin said, that's running for the Secretary of State's office. You really do need to vote to get a chance. for governor, even though we've heard a lot of negative things, we're experiencing a lot of negative things through our labor movement. And we can make a change. We hire and we fire at the voting booth. Our candidates night is going to be October the 20th on a Monday from 6 to 8 at True Love Ministries, 1634 Minnesota Avenue. And I ask that you please come out or at least vote. Please support labor because that's you and that's me. If you have any questions, please just ask. Yes.
Are you inviting judges also?
Yes. We have Jennifer Bruner who's running for judge. We have Leslie Schuster who is judge.
David Young.
Sheila is taking care of inviting. We just sent a press release out last week, so we're trying to get media out as well. And we have the Franklin County Children's Services, their ballot, they're going to have a renewal levy on the ballot, which just means that they just want to renew it. There's no more additional money. They just want to continue to have that service and provide services to the children in Franklin County. But yes, we have judges.
Excuse me, if I may, we do have a roster, if anybody want to see it, of the attendees as far as RSVP for the candidates. So if anybody wants that roster, I can produce that for you.
Thank you.
Are you guys going to use a carpool list of people that need to ride there?
To the candidates night.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we don't have that benefit. We don't have that service available to us.
So anybody wants to volunteer at carpooling?
If they come to the office and sign up through Sheila, we'll do the best that we can to try to get people there, but we just don't have those services available to us.
So you guys hear it now. If you want to volunteer as a carpool, or if you know that somebody wants to do a carpool to get people from over there,
From here to there,
yeah, see Cynthia or Sheila or Lo.
or our office manager.
Yeah.
Please, thank you. There's someone else. I think Amy just said that. Two questions. What is that again, 1634? 1634 Minnesota Avenue.
And are you going to put the roster on the web, on our website?
I can do that. That's not a problem.
Thank you. David?
Did you say you're inviting Betsy Schuster?
Yes, she was invited, and the reason that we are asking all candidates, and I know that she is a Republican, is because it's a nonpartisan, which means that actually legally it has to be nonpartisan. So we're asking both parties to send their candidates. However, you vote for who you want to vote for, and it also shows you who's going to come out and support labor. We might have a friend in the Republican, but you have to listen to them, ask them questions to see if they're going to support you. But I want them to come. Come on, talk to me. And if you don't say what I want to hear, then I'm going to vote for who I want to vote for. But it's an educated procedure.
What's the date? Sorry.
October the 20th, 6 to 8. Yes, sir.
2012, you guys had candidates right here at this union hall. How come you said you did location?
Well, we have moved it, actually the last few years, we even had it at a high school. So we go place to place. So, yeah, and we may come back here, but we do move it around. We don't keep it at one place all
You
the
guys
time.
sent out email and notice when you post that date as a reminder.
It's on Facebook. I put it on there to remind people, update them. It's on Facebook, and it is on our main website too. So we are inundating people with that. And plus we have flyers in the office if anybody want to see those too that are accessible. So we are getting the information out there.
Thank you. Any other questions?
These events that you're putting together are joint efforts with other unions, aren't they?
Yes, 4310, which they have an office here upstairs. They are with us, the NAACP, Columbus chapter, and the National Action Network is partnering with us as well, which is really is an idea, and it's been going on actually these meetings ever since, I guess about 25 years, and it's a idea from the Reverend Al Sharpton. So they're partnering with us too, and various churches. We want to keep God involved in what we're doing and bless them.
day, David.
Just a quick point, not everyone, including me, has figured out Facebook, so if you're not gonna just put it on Facebook. And I noticed some of Facebook comes up when you go on the website, and a lot of CWA stuff populates there. But I'm not sure, sometimes when I click on stuff, since I'm not on Facebook, I can't get it. So we need to have multiple angles to get at some of these issues, or computer training for dinosaurs like that.
So what was that, John?
Oh, I don't know what that is.
There is a group called the Ohio Student Association. Oh,
I'm sorry, excuse me, if you're, like, I'm the first car in the parking lot, if you could, please,
somebody has it blocked in. What kind of car is it?
it's a number. If you're parked in a parking lot and you're not in a space, and like you're just like parked along in front, can you let me out? I have to be at work.
Can you let me out, please?
It's a lot of cars. Like I'm closest to the, like I'm one of the first cars on the block.
Get 837.
Yeah, 8:37, and then I'll have to go, the next one will be 9:37.
Any other questions about that tonight? Tony? Oh.
How about cash?
Thank you, Tony Brown.
Tony.
This night is an important night in our voting and everything for the general election and whatnot, but I'm wondering, have we come up with a date for our local election? And if not, do we come
The answer is yes.
What date is that?
It was the day before the general election. The general election, I believe, is November the 4th. Our election is November the 3rd, that Monday.
That's my question. Thank you.
And it'll also be posted 15 days prior to that day.
One of the things that I heard was about being not so savvy on the computer or Facebook and things like that. There's a group called the Ohio Student Association. They teach. They're an advocacy group. They're about voter empowerment. They're about defending the rights of people on all levels. That group is willing to come to the hall. I've been working with them. They've been doing some outstanding things, but they will come to the hall and teach us how to tweet, how to Facebook, whatever you might want to know. They are extremely good at it. One of the things they've been fighting and working on is the acts that have been occurring in Ferguson and Beaver Creek and Greene County. With the last incident in Greene County, they had 2.25 million hits to keep that conversation going, to keep that narrative going in one day. That's amazing. That draws a lot of attention. 2.25 million. And that group has stated to me that they will come here, help train us. They actually had their initial meeting that allowed them to form and to be in this hall. This is where they were born. And so they have a special place for us. And they're amazing. They're willing to come out, made of a lot of young students, black, white, Asian, Chinese. It's an amazing group, but they're pro-labor, they're pro-human rights, they're pro-student rights. But in order for us to be able to move in this movement, and we're in the midst of a movement, we need the youth. So this is a great group to engage with, so we can begin to think about when we would like to them to come to us to help us who do have those difficulties. It would be wonderful. We can make that happen. So you can't say that anymore.
Okay, let's do a sign-up sheet. At the end, I'll have a sheet back in the back. If you need training on Facebook, email, tweet, what else, Instagram, what else?
Social media.
Social, you need all of that, so that you can get into our online, program. I will have that, paper at the back. Sign your name, we'll get it to, Ohio Student and set up a meeting, yeah.
Yeah, just to follow up, I may need more than a phone with Ohio Student. I'm not so impressed with technology as some people are. I'm not sure I want to know about tweeting and texting. I've kind of noticed as my actual life kind of disappears and they're installing or have installed a toxic workplace where I'm working, my electronic life kind of blossoms, you know. And when I did get on Facebook for a while, I noticed all my bar-going friends were still doing drugs and didn't have much of an actual life. Existed electronically. So technology can take a lot away from you, and there are different ways of being versed in technology, and I want to make sure we're running the race in the trenches and on the ground. So I don't know if I want to be texting and tweeting and all that. I just wanted to make sure we were covering every angle for the people who are on computers and technology advanced. People who are not, I don't mind knowing some about it. And some of you know I have a Hotmail account and I can be a real pest. Sending people stuff and long stuff. People are in a hurry these days. I've seen people texting and parallel parking their car at the same time. So I don't know if I'm ever going to be there. I mean, the student group is great that they're teaching that for people who want to know, but it's like I want my actual life to come together, and technology is sometimes part of that. Sometimes technology is used against workers, and once you buy in, you're in big trouble with your actual life stepping off into technology. So we got to be mindful of whatever we do, and not shut people out because we all have a club going on Facebook. Because a lot of people aren't in that club. I talk to them every day.
I just want to keep you informed so that if we whisper in your ear and we put it on Facebook, that you need to meet us on the corner of Broad and Third, because we got an issue with John, you're going to know what that means.
Thank you, Mayor.
Tim.
Just to piggyback on Tony's question, as far as the date goes, procedurally, how's the voting going to take place? Is it going to be all here at the hall, or how's that going to happen?
It is always, it will be like the following. There will be a box at the Secretary of State. There will be a box at the various branch campuses. There will be a box in Sedgwick County. There will be a box in Newark. There will be a box at Lyon and all the places that is how it's always been. The branches have a tendency to vote a day or two before, so that all those votes can be then, and they're sealed in a proper container so that when their votes are brought here, and then when all the votes are tabulated, everything is open at the same time. The branches get their vote before we vote, so they can get that. That has to be delivered from there to here. So.
And is that like at a special executive meeting when those are opened, or?
No. At the end of that night, all votes will be counted.
Okay.
Election committee.
Thank you.
Anybody can come and watch. We'll form one. You want to be on the election? Well, you're a candidate now, so that...
You have to be a non-candidate.
People who are not candidates can get in, and it can be viewed by... you all can be here, count at office and pull up the shades, and everybody can watch and be counted. That's a very easy process.
We didn't have old business and new business, but I wanted to mention some old business about health care. Ohio State is soliciting now for open enrollment period on your health care. Some people think it's a conflict of interest to be part of your plan for health and choose the basic PPO, whatever that stands for, I can't remember. But in all the categories, Ohio State advertises they cover your preventative health care 100%. I'd just like to tell the membership, be cautious, because it's currently a short list of what constitutes preventative care. So if you go for an annual skin care screening or have any number of tests done that you think are preventative, it may not be on the list of 100% covered preventative care. I ran into that a bit this year, and I've been able to get some adjustments on my own, but very little advance notice of what's preventative care and what's not, other than the links they provide online, and there's a short list of preventative care. So just to caution people, you want to check before you have things done. Your doctor may urge you to get things done. You may go to your annual physical and be billed for an office visit, thinking your annual physical is supposed to be covered. So just a word of caution to everybody's check out ahead. If you think something's preventative care, it might not be on the 100% covered list, which is limited.
What's the date for it?
I don't know the dates.
They,
Right.
they send out brochures to your house, and it's also, they send you an email. So they send you an email also, you get a brochure to your house. So, I mean, knowing the dates offhand, I don't really know them, but I know that I've already got the literature.
The
And I'm
email I got
also
this
opening up my
past week,
email
for
and saw it there
example,
online.
across the board says preventative care 100%, 100% covered. Well, don't be deceived on 100%. You'll find you'll be getting a bill if it's not on that short list of preventative care. So, that might be something for negotiations that comes up. Thanks.
Point of order, we need a consideration for an extension or adjournment and have the drawing. Tony Brown.
Motion for adjourn and have drawing.
My name is Kareem Kennedy,
Say
and I'm a
again?
bus driver from CAB. And whoever, all the candidates, I want to say, can you guys please just reestablish a relationship back with the bus drivers over there? I'm the only bus driver in here. I've been working for Ohio State for 7 years, and this is my first meeting I've been to. It's not because I've been reluctant, we're not giving information. A lot of the drivers over there don't have faith in the union as far as what's going on. It almost seem like an afterthought. And I think out of everybody that's represented in here, we have the most contact with the students. We have the most dangerous job because we're dealing with things that's going on campus. So whoever, all the executive members, please just try to reestablish a relationship with the union.
Okay, your name was
Just
what?
with CAB. With all due respect to Terrell, and I only had to deal with him one time in my 7 years, people just don't have faith in it. Because it's not existing. We don't, we
I
don't.
need his name.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar King.
Okay.
And I just, whoever, everyone, please just try to reestablish a relationship with the bus drivers. I think we're a very important part of the campus and what's going on. If 5 to 10 of us call off, we can shut the whole campus down. They won't have enough people to drive the bus.
Wow.
And I agree with you, Kareem King.
We have no steward on campus, we have nobody.
I gave the other two, let me finish.
Okay.
I've been out there several times. I've talked to several individuals where you are. I've had several corrective actions where you are. And so as far as contact, if anybody calls me, I can't speak to any other human, any other person. If anybody calls me, I'm gonna make sure I call you back or I'm gonna come see you. And you can put it to the test. But as far as the bus drivers, man, you wouldn't see me. But I'm out there right now working on your attendance issue because in the TTM booklet, it has that you can take off, be targeted 10 times. Went to corrective action hearing, I'm reading all this, the department is like, we don't know where that's coming from. I got all the documents, all the paperwork. Because they came out with some new policy for that book, but did Todd Hunter to make sure that we disseminate that information to the drivers, and when he has the meeting with the group, I would definitely be there to talk about that issue because they said, man, that's not right, Terry. We don't know where that's coming from, but I'm sitting there with the A&P policy and the handbook that specifically states you can take 10 targets. So anybody, as far as I'm concerned, that runs up against that number, based on that book, that other policy's fine, but it's not in the book, which the drivers have. I'll have a problem with them at all trying to bring it to corrective action.
Mr. Rivers, finally, you'll know, I think what it is, what we're missing a driver who's there every day. Like I said, drivers are getting called in the office. They have a Facebook page where students are filing complaints. They're not saying who it is. It could be a student driver in the evening. They're making these outrageous complaints, and drivers are getting called on the radio. I've been called to my supervisor's office. Come see me here. It shouldn't be like that.
All you gotta do is call me.
I understand that, but we need a driver there who hears it.
Okay, here we go. Do we have anybody out there that would like to be a student?
I don't have no problem with it. I don't know what information I need as far as how to be a steward. I don't know.
You know what? I'll take your name and your number when you leave, but also I just wanted to address one thing else that you talked about. When those complaints come in, and I won't use any names, but I've been in several, I'm talking this year, several, where we got complaints from students that weren't found. I've seen some that were found, and you know, we took the proper action. Nobody went to corrective action for it, but there have been several cases, and like I said, I don't want to say names, this year, where they actually tell you who the student is, and I have all that information, but some things I just don't, some things you want to keep to that person, because you don't want to be telling everybody's information. But I just want you to know, I personally do see those, and if you have any issues of anybody trying to bring you into a meeting, say, does this have to do with corrective action? Call, and I guarantee you can put me to the test. You put me to the test, man, I will be there. And if I can't make it, I'll make sure somebody else is. Okay? But I just wish we could just have information on the board. Okay.
They'll post student complaints, but they won't post anything about what's going on with the union.
I'll make sure that that happens.
Any information on it. Like I heard, Kevin, I heard from a couple of drivers that you came by, but they just said, this guy who's running for presidency, he came by just to say hi. It's like, who's this guy? What's his name? They didn't know. There was no formal information. I was sent to meet today. It was sent to me at home, a letter. It wasn't posted at the job. The Christmas party last year, it was something posted in 2013 about the Christmas party here at the Union Hall. Wasn't that posted last year? I had to hear from another driver who saw it over at the hospital that it was a Christmas party. Why weren't we invited? I'm a card-carrying member. I pay my union dues every day. And there's a lot of drivers over there that don't realize with the elections coming up what's going on, what's on the line. A lot of them going to vote for cases because they're going to vote for cases. They cut their rights out. So they need to be reestablished and reconnected. Like I said, I've been here 7 years. This is my first union meeting. Not because I've been reluctant to come. I didn't know. My father worked for General Motors for 30 years. I was a UAW baby, so I know being in the union's about. I'm pro-union.
I'm going to ask this question, and then we're going to get back to where we are. I'm going to ask this question.
All right.
One of the things that's always been an issue, OSU is extremely vast and large. $300+ billion all over the place. From Booster, Ohio, clean down to Pickaway County. So that's where they are. But one of the main things that's missing, 1,800+ people. But getting people to serve as a steward is a very difficult thing to do. Everybody wants a shop steward. One that should be right there for them. Then you should have one. You should have one. But that takes someone stepping up in your shop. And nobody wants to step up in your shop. I mean, there, of course, is Crystal, Jason, Newman, Miracle, Kevin when he was there. They had cover 3, 4, 50, 60 buildings at a time by themselves. And you can't be everywhere by yourself. That is very difficult. And do your job too. I've always pointed out, these gentlemen, these men and women working here, they got a manager, got 16 people up under them. Got another manager got 8 people up under. Some of the kitchens only got 20 people, got 5 managers. You imagine one man having 6 persons. We 7 trying to handle 1,800. To be a steward, you need to come to the meetings. You need to be involved. You need to be actively working. Anytime you want a task to do a job, one of the things I've always, find somebody who's already doing it. Find somebody who's already helping. Find somebody who's already dealing with issues. I became a steward because I was working as a steward before they asked me to be one. I picked up that contract book. I started helping people by myself. Look, man, they violating your rights. This was the contract. Say, come here, let me read it to you. Let's go in there and talk to him together. Someone will notice if you are being active and speaking to their problem, helping with their problem, telling their rights. Then that also puts you on the radar. We say that person needs to be the steward. You're already helping somebody. You're going to give somebody a job. Try to find the person who's doing the job. And so the issue in that particular area is people say, I need a steward, but nobody steps up and we don't find anybody working to help alleviate those issues that be occurring.
So how do we change that?
We change that because as you right here in this room and as I keep it listening, you've got to help me help you. You've got to volunteer. You got to say, hey, I'm going to help get this job done because it's massive. That's what needs to occur. There needs to be help. And I say that, as I said before, you my eyes. You my ears. So you tell me what's going on. Call back. You don't have to wait till the union meeting. Call me as soon as it happens. Call Terrell as soon as it happens. That sends the seat there. But there should be somebody there once we begin to see what's happening, who's fighting, who's speaking up. We say, we think that'd be a good candidate. But even once you become the steward, then you still report back. You still say, this is happening over here. We need to do something. We need to address this. That's our current. And that's how we come together. But when you put a load on somebody by themselves, that they got to lift, that's unfair to him or her. It's unfair to Crystal to say. Just on the North Campus alone, it's like 18 buildings. Just on North Campus. And they say, well, we need to see you at our building. And if she's meeting with management, and the meetings that she has to do because she's a steward, and the 18 buildings down here, 14, 15 down there in South Campus, another over here in the Bill Hall complex, then you got the great big old Ohio Student Union, then you got RPAC, then you got Fawcett Center, then you got Jockey Fiend. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's a whole lot. So we need some soldiers. And I promise, that's what we need. I'm not complaining, I'm saying help me. Help me. Help her. We need soldiers. And you can be one of them. Help eliminate the problem. So I do want to clarify one piece. That gentleman that came to see you, if they said somebody ran for president, it was not me. It wasn't me. Okay. And I know who it was, but it wasn't me. I'm coming, but it wasn't me. I helped with issues there. I understand, but I just want to let you know that was somebody other than me. I can say over. That was somebody other than me. But
What you're doing is, Crystal, please just reestablish,
we're going to draft.
over in the CAD's office.
That will happen.
That's the start, we can go from there.
And we're going to move on. We're going to make it work. But we become stronger when we all really begin to unite back together. And that's what we're going to talk about real soon. But I need a second on that motion that was by Tony Brown. Second by Lynn Cornegay. All in favor? Aye. All those who oppose? Aye. Who? David left. But that's one aye, and motion has been passed. Where's the bucket? Where's the bucket? Bring up the bucket. Everybody got their ticket?
Sorry about your luck if you don't have a ticket. Mr. King? Yes. Can you step to the front, please?
Sure can.
Well, watch it. Oh, no. Man, that's not your watch. He gave it to you. $50, going with $50, the first one, last three numbers, 4, 3, 2.
All right.
I know you look good.
I'll take it to you.
We're gonna bring the bucket to you for you to put your hand in and draw the next one.
Wow. Stand right there. Right here.
$50 more. $50 more. Last three numbers. 4, 4, 444. Dave Hughes. Dave Hughes, FOD. $75. 4, 2, 6. That's me. Oh, I can't.
All
I did. He said that I